back up. Uh-oh. That's not it. What's going on, y'all? Peace and love. Come on through. Get nice and comfy. I'm on those other. Boom. Bringing her back into the Zoom room. If you want to be part of the discussion, this is a special MLK version, so we got another day. Hey, what's good? Who's in the chat on IG? What's up with y'all? We got a special MLK Day version today, so we're going to start with a little Black Labor White Wealth. We'll see how long they let me keep that up on IG and these other platforms. But right now, we're good on 7. I'm going to give it a moment, wet the whistle a little bit, because I'm going to be talking. Boom. And, all right. Now we start the record. Peace and love, kings, queens, and gods. My name is Jarek, and I'm the Floating Yogi, and this is brought to you by Yogi. Boom. Urban yogic wellness and education, restructuring health and wellness in the community, bringing the power of growth and healing back to the individual's hands. So, like I mentioned before, this is a special MLK Day version. So we gotta talk about the guy a little bit, something referencing it, and we also gotta. Then we're gonna get back into the book, what we've been talking about: the doubting mind, the seeking mind, and Osho's Book of Secrets, and those techniques that we did on Thursday at Midday Mind Right. And we'll tap on that last one that we didn't touch on last Monday. What else is there? I'd also like to give a shout out to some of our partners. Born to Fly Fitness, where fitness is fashion. You can check out his boot camps, his motivational speaking. I'm telling you, he gonna have you lit, ready to go, run, everything. And calisthenics workouts, all that. I'd also like to thank Mono's Detox, because I'm over here, helping the mental, giving you that mental information, that mental nutrition. He gonna get you right with the sea moss, with the smoothies, with the elixirs, all that. That's gonna be on the website. Check it out soon. Also, I'd like to thank Buddha Blessing. Ooh, yeah. These magical things right here. Ooh. Those things, Buddha Blessing. You can check them out on my website. Those are great things, great frequencies that they'll hit, and for me, they allow me to come back to whatever I've associated with that, whatever energy, whatever intention I put behind it. It allows me to snap back to that. And those bowls, the Marines, all those on the website. Check it out. What else is there? Last but not least, we got some meditation gear. Do you care enough about your mental space to meditate today, or are you bullshitting on your greatness? You can check it out on my website, scrolling right here, thefloatingyogi.com. Swoop, sweep, bow. And also, you can hop on the meditation accountability. That is going to be daily. You can check it out in the stories. Share, meditate, vote, and share, and that'll give you an entry into the monthly giveaways. There's a whole bunch of other things happening with a little bit more interactive feature. So we vibing with you. We know how to tailor it towards you. All right, and also one way that you can get that meditation practice started is with a soundtrack, thanks to DJ Thrill, No Commercials International. No commercials! And you can check that out on all streaming platforms. Download, share, vibe with it. That could be your morning meditation. And you can then meditate, vote, and share, and get your entry into the monthly giveaway. All right, all that stuff's out the way. This book, Black Labor, White Wealth, is written by Dr. Claude Anderson, right? Fire book, right? It's about the search for power and economic justice for blacks. Let's see. I wanted to give like a little snippet of it. I'm not getting paid for this. It's just an impactful book, and we got an impactful time coming up, right? Right. Let's see what we're talking about there. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Do you read the foreword or the introduction? See, I'm new to this read the book junk like that. So Which one we read, the foreword or the introduction? Let's see. Let's read the introduction. I think that's what you read. All right. Racism against against black people have been a rewind. Racism against black people has been a virulent undercurrent in our society for hundreds of years. In various forms, it insinuates itself into all aspects of our lives. Yet, it is not an acceptable topic for discussion anywhere, neither the conference room nor the living room, especially across racial lines. It is as if we believe that if we ignore the facts of racism, they will not exist. That is not the reality. It is time for a serious dialogue and a change in black strategies. Neither the dialogue nor the strategies can be emotional or superficial, and instead they must be based on facts and knowledge and considered for the purpose of understanding, not the symptoms that we see all around us, but also how things came to be as they are now, as blacks can reverse our misfortunes and strengthen ourselves as a racial group. It is critical that we strengthen our group because while as individuals some of us may hold high-ranking positions in corporate America, government agencies, and our own businesses, and some of us may reside far from the scene of black despair, all blacks are identifiable members of one racial group. Furthermore, as the racial group, we are powerless, impoverished, and increasingly unable to compete in America. And whether they intend to or not, those outside of the group see us as one group. Strongly support these thoughts, yo. Strongly support these thoughts. I was seeing, I don't know if you saw this, Biden. This dude is just loose with the tongue. You know he's tripping, yo. You know he's tripping. He's sitting there comparing MLK on the day we celebrating his birth, right? We celebrating him, and he's gonna compare one black man's death to another one's. Talk about it didn't have as much impact as across the world as Eric Garner did, and it's just a little loose with the tongue. It's still there. It's still prevalent. And in still such a high-ranking society, if you're, have a high-ranking position, you're still in that system. We'll talk about this later on. But, we just diving in just to give you an idea of what this book is. I rock with it. Again, Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson. You can get it on like Amazon. I know there's some black institutions that you can get it from, like We Buy Black Books or something like that. I don't know. None of them paying me. But Google find them jokes. Alright. The predominantly marginal living conditions of blacks did not happen by accident. They resulted from a forethought and planning by whites, European whites who came to this country in 1607. They were the first power group in America. They wielded power in a manner that is neutral to the human race. They had a chance to start a new government in a country filled with resources and potential for wealth. They seized the unique opportunity and to structure a government and system to their sole advantage, to secure their advantage and increase their power. They subordinated and exploited another race of people, blacks. The purpose of this book is to illuminate and examine the strategies and techniques that were used by whites to accomplish their goal of solidifying power and privilege. Once black Americans understand the strategies and techniques that whites use to build their power, they can use those same tools to build black empowerment. The history of slavery and the struggles of equality serve as a guide for the future. While the dire conditions of black Americans can be traced back to measures of colonial governments used against blacks, it is not in there. We have further handicapped ourselves by some of our own beliefs and behaviors. Our dogged pursuit of integration is one example. Strongly support those thoughts. Integrate. If any system you're integrating in, think about you being one drop of tea in an ocean. It's gonna dissolve. There's gonna be way more of one than the other, right? That's what happens when you integrate. Just think about it like that. Okay. In doing so we have to create our own. Here we are, UE, Urban Yogic Wellness and Education, restructuring health and wellness in the community. Boom. All right. In doing so, we have destroyed our communities, diluted our numerical strengths, and become dependent upon others. We have the Democrats, the Democratic Party. I don't fuck with any of them, but here we are. We have been further handicapped by our inability to practice group economics in a capitalistic democracy. We have always been the key capitalistic element in the national empowerment plans of others as a source of free or cheap labor. Yet we have never had a national empowerment plan of our own. We have never used the collective intellectual resources to create a national plan with explicit policies and strategies of our own economic and political gain. Black labor, white wealth provides useful information and a conceptual framework to stimulate thought, discussion, and planning moving toward that end. Chapter 1 describes there was something I wanted to say about that. The cheap labor, TikTok, boom. Y'all, I know y'all saw that meme and everything going around. All the TikTok people, like all the top like 10 earners or something are all white, and everything that they were doing was inspired by black people. I'm just saying, when you see other people talking about what I'm doing, like these books that I'm reading, just know the censorship's real. Meditate, vote, and share. Thank you. Let's get it. Let's get it. We have never used our collective intellectual resources to create a national plan with explicit policies and strategies for our own economic and political gain. Oh, I already said that. Chapter 1 describes and analyzes the present-day conditions of Black America and establishes links with the antebellum condition of slaves. Chapter 2 discusses the concepts of the power and focuses on ways groups can acquire institutionalized power. Chapter 3 describes the social and economic impediments to Black empowerment, including certain behavioral patterns and ideological beliefs that diffuse and weaken our sense of direction and unity. Ooh, that's powerful right there. Chapter 4 and 5 explain why Blacks were selected for enslavement and why we cannot change our conditions by emulating Asians, Hispanics, or other ethnic or racial groups that migrated to this country. That's an important aspect too. It's a very different mindset. Chapter 6 tracks the nature and development of Black-white relationships in connection with wealth building process using comparative tables, charts, illustrations, drawings, and visual timelines. This chapter covers 5 centuries of social practices and devices that created wealth and imbalances between Blacks and whites. Chapter 7 explains the national public policy and has guided institutions in their manipulation of Blacks, the conditioning of the supportive system for controlling and keeping Black powerless. Minorities are also discussed. Chapter 8 explains why certain major problems will converge within the next generation to make Blacks permanent underclass unless Black Americans take immediate preventative action to avoid this catastrophe. To that end, Chapter 8 offers practical course of action that Blacks can take to achieve cohesiveness and change detrimental social psychological behavior patterns and develop new type of leadership that will help America develop into a competitive group and a rapidly developing pluralistic society. He's got a few more other things in there, but you get a gist of it. And it's a fire book. I encourage you to get it, read it, educate yourself, right? Mental health is wealth. And fitness is fashion. Hey, I woke up like this. And then I did my sun salutations, right? I meditated, right? Hey, okay. I'm going to wet the whistle a little bit. Who in this thing? Hey, I see you here on IG. Y'all vibing with me. Trell, Tyler. Hey, I haven't seen you in a good grip. I'd love to offer some yoga there. Again, come on back virtually, because I know, it's wild in these streets. And Destiny, what's good with you, Rail? I saw you yesterday, Rail. What up, though? All right. So now we're back on schedule, back on track. The Book of Secrets, Osho's 112 Meditations. We went over the first 3 last week, and we're gonna tap into a couple more and see what's up. That did absolutely nothing, but that's fine. It's fine. The first 3 were about the doubting mind and the seeking mind. The doubting mind is like anytime you've been in a space where or you know somebody, when whatever answer you give them, it's not good enough. You'll say, oh, I can't do this, it's so bad. Oh, well, why can't you do it? It fell on the floor. All right. And you pick it up for them, and then you hand it to them, and they're like, oh my gosh, well, I still can't do it because now it's on the floor, it's dirty, and then you wash it off. Well, I'm still not able to use it because the energy's wrong. This is the doubting mind. They're just going to keep coming up with excuses, keep coming up with things. The seeking mind is similar to it. The seeking mind is, the seeking mind is, one second, back to restream. The seeking mind is like, I'm not able to be content. I'm not able to be okay. I'm just irritable. It is what it is. That's the seeking mind. Oh, I was hoping you were about to do a full moon meditation. Hey, we got an in-person new moon meditation. We're holding ourselves accountable for this new moon and the seeds we sown, those intentions we set on the new moon for the new year. So that's on the website too. Go and check it out, get your ticket, and I got you covered. So the seeking mind is like, I'm not able to be content. I achieved this. I got this. I was working towards that. I got that. Everything that I wanted, I got it. But it's just nothing's enough. That's the seeking mind, and they have a similar issue. The problem is the mindset. So again, Tantra's creating existential experiences for you to change yourself, for you to adjust, because there's something happening, and it's like there's a conflict, and one way is a dualistic way, which is going to pull you, and the other, as we were talking about before, in this way is, all right, I'm going to accept what it is and then find the best way to move forward, the easiest way to move forward. And these techniques help us to get to that state. And the first one is be aware, watch the gap between the 2 breaths. And that brings us the awareness of the process that's going on. That brings us the awareness of the process. Then we're like, okay, I know that there is a little bit deeper that I can go in and understand what's happening with the breath. So then it brings us to watch the turning point between the 2 breaths. So that's the part in the body that's the part when you're breathing in. And if you think about it, like I'm going to give a couple of them away because we've been doing it for 2 weeks. So the first one's right here. Boom. It hits the back of the throat and it turns. Then there's another part when it gets to the base of the pelvis, or however shallow we breathe, and then it turns again and comes out. Right? So that'd be the turning point. Then watch the fusion point between the 2 breaths. And that is like finding your center, allowing yourself to breathe deep, to expand the ribs, not just the ribs, but the back as well. And once you expand the back, you're able to find, the vertebrae can start to realign a little bit or pop back into place. And then it touches your center. That's what he was talking about. Most of the time we just breathe shallow, just up here. Maybe even in the head. Shows a lot of where our conscious is, where our awareness is focused. So watch the fusion point. When does the inhale become the exhale? How deep do you breathe? Do you feel that spot? That center? And the last one, boom, 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 4. Be aware of when breathing stops. The 4th technique, or when breath is all out, up, and stopped of itself, or all in, down, and stopped in such universal pause. One's small self vanishes. This is difficult only for the impure. But then it is difficult for everyone, because he says this is difficult only for the impure. Because everyone's impure. Shit, I be fucking out, you know. But who is the pure one? It is difficult for you. You cannot practice it, but you can feel it sometimes. And suddenly, you are driving a car, and suddenly you feel there is going to be an accident. Breathing will stop. If it is out, it will remain out. If it is in, it will remain in. You cannot breathe in such an emergency. You cannot afford it. Everything stops. It departs. Or when breath is all out, up and out, and stopped of itself, or all down, or all in, down, and stopped in such universal pause, one's small self vanishes. Your small self is only a daily utility. In emergencies, you cannot remember it. Who you are, the name, the bank balance, the prestige, everything just evaporates. Your car is just heading towards another car, another moment, and then there will be a death. In this moment, there will be a pause. Even for the impure, there will be a pause. Suddenly, breathing stops. If you can be aware in that moment, you can reach the goal. Right? That's like the whole concept. What's the first one? Boom, 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 boom. Watch the gap between the breaths. That's a moment. Is it out or in for you normally? This is how we can go deeper into the breath and understanding how it affects us in the mind state that it creates. All right. Zen monks have tried this method very much in Japan. That is why the method seems very weird, absurd, and strange. They have done many inconceivable things. The master will throw someone out of the house. Suddenly the master will begin slapping the disciple without any rhyme or reason, without any cause. You were sitting with your master and everything was okay. You were just chit-chatting, and he will begin to beat you in order to create the pause. If there was any cause, the pause cannot be created. If you had abused the master and he starts beating you, there is a causality. Your mind understands, I abused him. He is beating me. Really, your mind was expecting it already, so there is no gap. But remember, a Zen master will not beat you if you abuse him. He will laugh, because then laughter can create the pause. You were abusing him and you were saying nonsense things to him. You were expecting anger, but starts laughing or dancing. That is sudden. That will create the pause. You cannot understand it. If you cannot understand, the mind stops. And when the mind stops, the breathing stops. Either way, if breathing stops, mind stops. If mind stops, breathing stops. Tongue twister. I didn't mess it up. I'm going to take a sip of water on that. And the more that you practice so I practice Ashtanga. The more that you practice that like Ashtanga practice, it really allows you to tap into those pauses in those moments a little bit easier. And I appreciate that because I like to listen to things when they're whispering, so I don't have to hear them when they're yelling, especially like my body. I don't want to hear it at a break and like been ignoring the whole time. It's like, hey, you keep doing this, I'm gonna fuck you up. You keep doing this, okay. My leg. Nah, I'm not trying to be in that. Anyway, moving forward. You were appreciating the master. You and you were feeling good, and you were thinking, now the master must be pleased. And suddenly he takes his staff and begins to beat you, and mercilessly. But Zen masters are merciless. He begins to beat you. You cannot understand what's happening. The mind stops. There's a pause. If you know the technique, you can attain to yourself. There are many stories that someone attained Buddhahood because the teacher suddenly began beating him. You cannot understand it. What nonsense. How can one attain Buddhahood by being beaten by somebody or by being thrown out the window by someone? Even some, I'm a touch on this book is written by Osho, an Indian guy, right? They talk about the abuse in this book and their mindsets. I just as a reference, because listen to how he's speaking, and this is why there's a little cultural difference from India to here, how they treat people in India and act in India and how they do stuff here. It's an interesting one. Hey, what up, Mo? Peace and love, King. Check out the smoothies, the elixirs, the serums. I told you they're gonna be on the website end of the week. All right. There are many stories, blah, blah, blah. In the West, particularly in the last 30 or 40 years, Zen has become very much prevalent of fashion. But unless they know this technique, they cannot understand Zen. They can imitate it, but imitation is of no use. Rather, it is dangerous. These are not things to be imitated. The whole Zen technique is based on the fourth technique of Shiva. But this is unfortunate. Now we will have to import Zen from Japan because we've lost the whole tradition. We do not know it. Shiva was the expert par excellence of this method when he came to marry Devi and with his barat, his procession. The whole city must have felt the pause. The whole city. Devi's father was not willing to marry his girl and this is now jumping into the story if you've been following. This is jumping into the story, the interaction between Shiva and Devi, masculine and feminine energies, and how they interact. Devi's father was not willing to marry his girl to this hippie Shiva. He was the original hippie. Devi's father was totally against him, and no father would permit this marriage. So we cannot say anything against Devi's father. No father would permit his daughter to marriage to Shiva. But Devi insisted, so he had to agree. Unwillingly, unhappily, but he agreed. Then came the marriage procession. It is said that people began to run. Seeing Shiva in the procession, the whole Bharat must have taken LSD, marijuana. They were high. And really, LSD and marijuana are just the beginning. Shiva knew, and his friends and disciples knew, that the ultimate psychedelic, Samarasa, Aldous Huxley, has named the ultimate psychedelic Samna only because of Shiva. They were high, just dancing, screaming, laughing. The whole city fled. It must have felt the pause. I'm just saying, they talking about some party stuff. They talking about some party stuff. Any sudden, unexpected, unbelievable thing can create a pause for the impure. And again, that pause is just that moment of stop, that space that's created that you can feel through that sif meditation that we do, right? Once you can feel those sifs and understand what's going on, those sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts that are swirling around, and then be the observer of them, there's a little bit of space created. You're not identifying with them. That's another thing we're going to be doing. Identity. We got some virtual identity workshops for kids and stuff based on chakras and other things coming out. Anyway, moving forward. Remember this. Mind movement needs breath movement. Mind moving fast needs fast movement and breath. That is why when you are in anger, the breath will move fast. In the sex act, the breath will move very fast. That is why in Ayurveda, a system of herbal medicine in India, it is said that your life will be shortened if too much sex is allowed. Your life will be shortened according to Ayurveda because Ayurveda measures your life in breaths. If you're breathing too fast, your life will be shortened. Modern medicine says that sex helps blood circulation, sex helps relaxation, and those who suppress their sex may get into trouble, particularly heart trouble. They are right, Ayurveda is also right, but they seem contradictory. But Ayurveda was invented 5,000 years before. Every man was doing much labor, life was labor, and there was no need to relax. There was no need to create artificial devices for blood circulation. Facts on facts. But now, for those who are not doing much physical labor, sex is their only labor. That is why modern medicine is also right for modern man. He is not doing any physical exertion, so sex gives him exertion. That's just like, oh yeah, I worked out today, I walked to the mailbox. The people who tell me that, I'm like, healthy people who tell me that. That ain't a workout. Oh yeah, I worked out today. No. Carve out the time. Take control of your life. Carve out the time. Create a lifestyle that works for you, that's healthy, that works for you. All right, I continue. The heart beats more, blah, blah, blah. So after sex act, you feel relaxed, and now you can fall into sleep very easily. This is horrible concept because, especially for men, because it's just depletion sleep. It's not regenerative sleep. It's I am exhausted. I can now go to sleep. I was so wired up. I just let everything go. I just gotta, I need to recharge for real. Learn to relax. That is not just relaxing, it is depletion. Okay. Freud says that sex is the best tranquilizer, and it is, at least for modern man. Fine. In sex, breathing will become fast, and anger breathing will become fast. In sex, the mind is filled with desire, lust, and impurity. When the mind is pure, no desire in the mind, no seeking, no motivation, you are not going anywhere. But just remaining here and now as an innocent pool, not even a ripple. Then breathing stops automatically. There's no need for it. And that's like how I feel after we do like the alternate nostril breathing, the sequence that we do. I don't feel like I need to breathe, so the breath becomes super shallow, and it feels like it just pauses. Not like I'm holding it, but it just pauses for a moment. On this path, the small self vanishes, and you attain the higher self, the supreme self. I think this will do for today. So that's how he be cutting off his like chapters. He'd be like, and that's enough for today. I am done for today. And I'd be like, okay, bars. But where we at? Nope, we're not done for today. We have overcoming the deceptions of the mind. So those are the 4 techniques to start with, to explore. We did them Thursday if you were in person. Sunday we did them again with the sound bowls. Ooh, I wish that was recorded. That was fire. Alright. Overcoming the deceptions of the mind. Osho. How is it possible that by simply becoming aware at a particular point in the breathing process, one can attain enlightenment? How is it possible to become free from unconsciousness by just becoming aware of such a small momentary gap in the breathing? This question is significant, and this question is likely to have occurred to many minds. So many things have to be understood. First, it is thought that spirituality is a difficult attainment. It is neither difficult nor an attainment. Whatsoever you are already spiritual. Nothing new is to be added to your being, and nothing is to be discarded from your being. You are perfect as possible. It is not that you are going to be perfect sometime in the future. It is that you have to do something arduous to be yourself. It is not a journey to some other point or somewhere else. You are not going somewhere else. You are already there. That which is to be attained is already attained. This idea must go deep. Only then will you be able to understand why such simple techniques can help. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that. He said it like 4 times. Just that sense of self is really going to help you to understand how the little things are the foundation for everything that's larger on top of it. Becoming more efficient with your breathing allows for more energy towards all other mechanisms, all other functions in your body, better state of being. Like, I can go on forever, but he gonna spit some bars for a minute. If spirituality is some attainment, then of course it's going to be difficult. Not only difficult, but be really impossible. If you are not already spiritual, you cannot be. You never can be, because how can one who is not spiritual be spiritual? If you are not divine already, then there is no possibility. There is no way. And no matter what the effort you will make, effort made by one who is not already divine cannot create divinity. If you are not divine, your effort cannot create divinity. Then it is possible. But the whole situation is totally opposite. You are already that which you want to attain. The end of longing is already there, present in you, here and now, this very moment. You are that which is known as divine. The ultimate is here. It is already the case. That is why simple techniques can help. It is not an attainment, but a discovery. It is hidden. It is hidden in very, very small things. The persona is just like your clothes. Again, the building blocks that create the foundation for all the larger things, taking care of the little things. Hey, there he is, born to fly. What's up, Leon? Fitness is fashion. All right. The persona is just like your clothes. Your body is here, hidden in the clothes, in the same way your spirituality is here, hidden in certain clothes. The clothes are your personality. You can be naked and just be here and now, and the same way you can be naked in your spirituality also. But you do not know what the clothes are. You do not know how you are hidden in them. You do not know how to be naked. I like that. That's like saying there's a veil up. It's giving me like imagery, like, yeah, if you only know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. So I feel like with that basis, you know better, you do better. So when those veils like start falling away, it's like, okay, I'm aware of this process, and you can roll with the punches a little bit better, because that's all the fuck life is. Just like discarding those emotional things, those emotional baggages, those traumas and things that we put on. And as we grow in doing those little things, taking care of that, taking care of ourselves, then all the larger things fall into place. All right. You have been enclosed so long, for lives and lives and lives. You have been enclosed. You have been so identified with clothes that now you do not think that these are clothes. You think these clothes are you, and that's the only barrier. For example, you have some treasure, but you have forgotten, or you do not yet recognize that this is the treasure. Then you go on begging in the streets. You are a beggar. If someone says, go look inside of your house, you need not be a beggar. You can be an emperor this very moment. The beggar is bound to say, what nonsense are you talking? How can I be an emperor this very moment? I have been begging for years, and I still am begging, and even so, if I go on begging for lives together, I'm not going to be an emperor. So how absurd and illogical is your statement? You can be an emperor this very moment. I'm going to let him finish with the parable. It is impossible. The beggar cannot believe it. Why? Because the begging mind is a long habit. But if the treasure is hidden in the house, then from simple digging, removing the earth a little bit, the treasure can be there. And immediately he will not be begging again. He will become an emperor. It is the same with spirituality. It is a hidden treasure. Nothing is to be achieved somewhere in the future. You have not yet recognized it, but it's already in you. You are the treasure, but you go on begging. So simple techniques can help. Simplicity. little things, noticing the gap between the breath, noticing the turning points of the breath, noticing the fusion point of the breath, noticing when the breath stops. Be aware of your mind state in all of these. That's an addition I'd like to throw in. Be aware of your mind state in all of these. Okay. That is why the question will occur to many. Really, to everyone, this question will occur. So small a technique like this. Be aware of your breathing, being aware of the incoming breath and the outgoing breath, and then realizing the intervals between the two. Is this enough? Such a simple thing. This is enough for enlightenment. Is this the only difference between you and Buddha? That you have not realized the gap between the breaths and Buddha has realized it? Only this much? It seems illogical. It's an experience. Experience changes us. We want to create experiences to change the mind, to change how we're thinking, to change that, as opposed to, oh, let me get an answer. Oh, let me get some money so I can stop begging. You're still going to have a beggar mindset. Hey, what's up, Carly Kramer? Peace, Queen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You can hop on the Zoom room if y'all want to. It's on thefloatingyogi.com. Sign up for next week. Hop on in the chat. All right. The distance between the distance is vast between a Buddha and you. The distance seems infinite. The distance between a beggar and an emperor is infinite, but the beggar can immediately become an emperor if the treasure is already hidden. Buddha was a beggar like you. He was not a Buddha always. At the particular point, the beggar died and he became the master. And this is not a gradual process, really. It's really not that Buddha goes on accumulating and then one day he is not a beggar and he only becomes an emperor. No. A beggar can never become an emperor if it's going to be an accumulation. He will remain a beggar. He may become a rich beggar, but he will remain a beggar. And a rich beggar is a bigger beggar than a poor beggar. He's doing his tongue twister stuff, and I'm on it. He may become a rich beggar, but he'll remain a beggar. Okay. All right. Suddenly, one day, Buddha realizes the inner treasure. Then he is no more a beggar. He becomes a master. The distance between Gautam Siddhartha and Gautam Buddha is infinite. It is the same distance between you and Buddha, but the treasure is hidden within you as much as it was hidden within Buddha. All right, there was one more. We'll skip through this, skip through that. Okay, and second metaphor. Secondly, the questionnaire asked, if something is smaller, how can a bigger step be possible through it? The concept is irrational, unscientific. Now, science knows that the smaller is the particle, the atom, the more explosive, the bigger really. The smaller it is, the bigger the effort. Could you have conceived before 1945 any imaginative poet or dreamer have conceived that 2 atomic explosions would wipe out completely 2 big cities in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki? 200,000 people were simply wiped out of existence within seconds, and that was an explosive force, an atom. The very smallest particle blew up 2 big cities. You cannot see an atom. Not only with your eyes can you not see it, you cannot see it by any means. The atom cannot be seen with any instrument. That we can only see its effects. That's true. That's facts too. We can only see the effects that atoms leave and have. So it's like so all these like ideas of what they look like, we saw some effects happen this way, but we really don't know what it looks like. We're also not able to see that small. Our eyes don't pick things up. That's why they have concepts of like string theory and other interesting concepts. Okay. Boom. Oh, snap. Damn, that's what it was. Okay, so I'm going to jump around a little bit. The small techniques are atomic. Those are doing bigger things, and those are doing the bigger things. Ba 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 ba. Tantra is not concerned with this. Tantra is concerned with the atomic secrets in the human being, in the human mind, in the human consciousness. And Tantra has achieved atomic secrets. These methods are atomic methods. If you attain them, their results are explosive, are cosmic. Another point is to be noted, if you can say, how is it that such a small and simple exercise one can become enlightened? You are saying that without doing this exercise, if you do it, then you will not say that this is a small, simple exercise. It looks this way because within 2 or 3 sentences, the whole sentence has been given. The whole exercise has been given. Yeah, that's real. It just sounds simple, but I highly encourage you to do it. You'll realize so many times all the sifts that start to pop up. Oh, my leg hurts. Oh, my back. Oh, I want to readjust. Oh, did I put that in the fridge? I don't know. What's my to-do list? Let me start to imagine that. I'm gonna go to the beach and chill a little bit. Or those feelings that start to come up. I'm a little unsettled. I didn't like the way that conversation went. Or those thoughts when you just go into a tangent from one of those. So, boom, 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 boom. So you give it a shot. Do you know the atomic? There's 2 formulas he's saying, and we will analyze it, and then you'll understand. When you take your breath in, you never feel the breath. You have never felt the breath. You will immediately deny this. You will say, this is not right. We may not be consciously, but we feel the breath. No, you don't feel the breath. You feel the passage. Right. So that's a clear distinction. Words creating the reality in which we perceive. Look at the sea. Waves are there. You see the waves, but those waves are created by air and wind. You do not see the air. You do not see the wind. You see the effects on the water. When you take a breath in, it touches your nostrils. You feel the nostril, but you never know the breath. It goes down, you feel the passage. It comes back again, and you feel the passage. You never feel the breath. You just feel the touch and the passage. This is not what is meant by when Shiva says be aware. First, you become aware of the passage, and when you have become completely aware of the passage, only then will you begin, by and by, to be aware of the breath itself. And when you become aware of the breath, then you will be capable of being aware of the gap, the interval. It is not so easy as it looks. Ooh, ain't that's a thing. That's a I had it underlined and I had some stars by it. Just to throw it out there. For Tantra, for all seeking, there are layers of awareness. If I embrace you, first you will become aware of my touch upon your body, not my love. My love is not so gross. And ordinarily, we never become aware of love. We are aware only in the body of movements. We know loving movements, we know non-loving movements, but we have never known love itself. If I kiss you, you become aware of the touch, not of the love. That love is a very subtle thing, and unless you become aware of my kiss, my love, the kiss is just dead. It means nothing. If you can become aware of my love, then and only then can you become aware of me, because that again is a deeper layer. Ooh, I like that. I like that right there. That was it right there. That was it right there. The love is like the mindset behind it, the thoughtfulness, not just the mechanical kiss, mechanical actions. Okay, the breath goes in, you feel it, it touches, you feel the touch, not the breath, but you are not even aware of the touch. If something is wrong, only then do you feel it. If you have to do some difficulty in breathing, then you feel it. This is where this is a controversial part, but palpitations come in right here. That's like us actually feeling our heart. Because I be thinking my heart beats so much slower, or it should beat. Oh, it's only like 46 BPM, which is low. But that's the yoga. In the meditation. But when it's like, I think it should be beating slower than when I start to feel it, and then I start to feel it in my chest, and I'm like, damn, is my heartbeat? Then I'll measure my heartbeat, and I'm like, 52. If you don't just chill the hell out and smoke some weed or something. Okay. The first step will be to be aware of the passage where the breath is, to be where the breath is felt to be touching. Then your sensitivity will grow. It will take you years to become so sensitive that not the touch but the movement of the breath is known. Okay. That was the breath moving in a new spot. It's speaking to me clearly and through me. Anyway, he's saying it takes a while for the movement of the breath to be known. The Ashtanga sequence, that's where I recommend that, because you can start to it can be a robotic sequence, especially if you're flowing with the videos. But once you find your own like dance, your own movements with it, your own flow, that's when the breath is kind of like awakening with you. When you, I'm a little off balance, but then you take that off balance and switch it over to Pavrita Trikonasana, reverse triangle. Boom, and then switch it back to the other side. It's like, that's flowing with the breath. Those chaturangas, when you jump back and it's like, you still exhaling and you already in chaturanga. You're like, damn, I did that. Okay. Then says Tantra. Yeah, that's where we stop. Then says Tantra, you will have known prana, the vitality. And only then is there a gap where breath stops, where breath is not moving, or the center where the breath is touching, or the fusion point, or the turning point where the breath, the ingoing breath becomes outgoing. This will become arduous. Then it will not be so simple. If you do something, if you go into the center, only then will you know how difficult it is. Buddha took 6 years to come to the center beyond the breath. To come to this turning, he had a long, arduous journey of 6 years. Then it happened. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to skip because y'all get that concept. All right. All right, even this question is a trick not to dig, because your mind says such a simple thing. Don't be a fool. How can you become a Buddha through blah, blah, blah? Skip. Mind creates barriers. It will become a barrier if you think this is so simple or this is so difficult. Then what are you going to do? You cannot do a simple thing. You cannot do a difficult thing. What are you going to do? Tell me. If you want to do a difficult thing, I will make it difficult. If you are going to do a simple thing, I will make it simple. It is both. It depends on how it is interpreted. But one thing is needed, that you are going to do. If you are not going to do, then the mind will always give you explanations. If you're not going to do, the mind will always give you explanations. Ooh, that's a nice one. I don't want to practice today. My body's tired. You heard all those pops. I just got enough pops for the day. I just loosened up. And then I got this meeting that's coming up, and let me just get my day started. Let me roll up real quick. That's me right there. Okay. In reality, there is no dilemma. In reality, there is no problem. There never has been. There never will be. In mind, there are problems. You look at reality through the mind, thus the reality becomes problematic. Your mind works like a prison. It divides and creates problems. And it's not only that, it creates solutions which become deeper problems because, in fact, there are no problems to be solved. Reality is absolutely unproblematic. There is no problem. Ooh, ooh. Damn, I might have to like cut that out as an excerpt and like record that and post that. I'm gonna call that the problematic mind. That's not written in the book, but that's what I'm gonna call that. All right. There's one more. Where's this gonna go? That's gonna take us too deep. Ooh, that's too many underlines. Yeah, we're gonna save that for next week. Everything is simple, really simple. It seems complex, but only of ignorance. Otherwise, everything is simple. Once you know it, it becomes simple. The knowing is bound to be difficult, not because of reality, remember, but because of your mind. We'll address that aspect of the mind next week. and some techniques on Thursday. So again, we was going over Black Labor, White Wealth, fire book by Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm not getting paid for it. I just encourage you to read it. I encourage you to get it, support black people, and this is gonna be a powerful joint. I'm gonna let my baby girl know about it so she know what the hell we've been coming up in. And she gonna have a fancy vocab too. Not just me. What else is there? Next week, there's a bunch of stuff happening next week. Monday, book club. Tuesday, tomorrow, we have Ashtanga. We can get that flowing. How all those things and methods that I was explaining before that help you to find those techniques, they're in this book, are in that practice. We're doing that tomorrow. Bring that ass. Boom. 6 p.m. Tickets are on my website. Thursday, midday meditation, midday mind right. Hop on thefloatingyogi.com and you can join the Zoom room. The audio is clear. Just FYI. And we're going to have a meditation. We're going to go back over those 4 points of awareness, those points of the breath. And Saturday we have Float and Flow. Virtual, again, bring that ass. And Sunday we are here, elevated system flow at UE Center. Thanks for stopping through. We gonna do what we gonna make it do, and we out. Peace and love, kings, queens.